Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. It is a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and it is an AMA. And you're saying, wait a minute, AMA, Larry, it's like Wednesday or something. True, it is like Wednesday or something. And with it being Wednesday or something, it is that for a very important reason, because I'm going to be traveling. And with me traveling, it is very challenging when I am traveling. Very challenging for me to be traveling, because when I am traveling like this, I'm gone for 3, 4, 5 days, and boy, I'm gone for 4 days this time, and I will not be around. So that's why I'm deciding to do one now. There we go. I'm doing one now. It is the time to do so. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy. As always, I'm trying to start it with something that I think is valuable or important, whatever the case may be. I'm trying my best to start it with something like that to see that we can get this kind of going if we can. Trying to get this going if we can. And to get it going, I'm starting with RFK Jr. Yes, I am. I'm starting with RFK Jr., as nutty as that may sound, because he has done some very interesting things recently. He has started with a new immunization panel or recommendation, I should say. And he has also changed the guidelines for dietary guidelines also recently, which some people might say, is that good or is that bad? I would say I'm going to go with good, but I know some of you might disagree, but I'm going to go with good. And I want to show you his little interview on him talking about it. And then another interview of people, interviewing him about it. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let me find this. Hold on. I will post this right now. Where am I? Okay. There we go. Yes, we are right there. And here we go.
Good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to see you. It's great to be with a very packed room. I'm sorry we kept you all very busy over the holiday break.
She is happy.
I know there is a lot of news out there today, both here at home and around the world. I will be happy to take all of your questions on all of that news.
We're not going to ask any of that stuff.
I'm really honored to be standing up here today with esteemed members of the president's cabinet and his health team to make an important announcement with respect to the president's domestic promise to make America healthy again as we kick off the new year.
Now, why do I bring this up? Because for those of you who've been paying attention, oh boy, has Trump been having some losses and victories and losses and all kind of issues, and his coalition is not doing very well right now. So this is where his coalition is still working. The Maha coalition still working, and he is going to put this up front and throw it up front. It says the White House right there. Go ahead, Maha people. Look, we're having victories. This is, if I'm the Trump team, smart move. Put it up there. See, we still have one together. That Tulsi Gabbard anti-war thing, well, we don't know about that. That libertarian, but Maha, look, we're Maha. It's a smart move. It's definitely a smart move.
In less than a year in office, the president and his incredible Maha team have made real progress on this
I'm going to
front.
zip forward. I don't need to pass
and
this.
And as a Maha mom, my partisan items for the needy in our country.
Oh my God. Okay, yes, here we go. Sorry.
Today marks a decisive change in federal nutrition policy made possible
now that's true.
by President Trump's leadership and the work of
course, Trump is a great guy. Got it.
Health advocates who
but also note, he says Trump, and also he says Maha moms. Smart move. Kennedy, smart. Look, for those of you who know, some people in the Maha movement are not happy with exactly what he's doing. They care about X or they care about Y. But what he has done very well, kudos to Kennedy for this. Again, you may not like Kennedy or you may not want his, his success, whatever you might care about. But if you are a Maha person, kudos to him. He gave the jab people something, nicely done, and the food people something, right? Now, here's the biggest question, though, for anyone else watching, who, whether you care about Kennedy or not. He ran independent, got enough of everything, jumped on a Trump train, and then boom, look where he is now. You might not like where he is, again, if you don't like him, but he's getting his agenda done. And he's got factions he's got to keep happy. He can't keep all the factions happy, but he's trying to. And he gave the jab people something. He gave the food people something. I would ask you, if you're, say, I don't know, voting for like Kathy Hochul or something, is she giving you anything? What she's giving you ain't good. That's for sure.
And reform. Today, in accordance with President Trump's directive, Brooke and I will release the dietary guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030.
Now, here's the most important piece here. People are going to say, and I'm going to hear it, oh my God, he's changing everything and he's wrecking the world, blah, blah. Is he forcing anybody to do anything? If you like eating cheeseburgers, you can still eat cheeseburgers. He's not stopping you from eating cheeseburgers. If you want to eat Fruit Loops, you can still eat Fruit Loops. He's not stopping you from eating Fruit Loops. If you want to, please enjoy. You may do as you see fit. But there's something he is changing. He's telling you where the government stands and saying, here, this is something you should be thinking about in your health. So giving you real information for you to look at and go, I cannot make a decision on whether I want to eat Fruit Loops or not, or whether I want to still eat cheeseburgers. You can make a decision with your life, your way, whatever you choose, you can still do that. But I'm still not done. What this affects, I'm going to tell you in a second. This affects kids, schools, hospitals. Why? Because the government runs all of those. And they shouldn't, but they do. They run all those things and decide what they eat.
The most significant reset of federal nutrition policy in history.
Yes, indeed.
These guidelines replace corporate-driven assumptions with common sense goals and gold standard scientific integrity.
Better, way better.
Guidelines will revolutionize our nation's food culture and make America healthy again.
And that's the key. I'm not against this concept. I've said it before. I don't have a problem. Look, we're going to have a government. It's going to stay. I got it. I live in the real world. If the government just has guidelines, I'm okay with that, as long as I have an option to ignore those guidelines if I don't like them. I do, but when I was a kid, I didn't. Right? Unless you're wealthy. If you're wealthy, you can always avoid guidelines. But if you're not.
For decades, Americans have grown sicker while healthcare costs have soared. The reason is clear. The hard truth is that our government has been lying to us.
Yep.
To protect.
What? Government lying to us? What? Yes. Yes. Absolutely yes.
Corporate profit taking.
Yep.
Telling us that.
Why does the left hate him? He just said the government's lying to us for the corporate powers. He just said that, and the left hates him. They should be going, yay, he's right. Corporations bad. They are. So no, because he's on Trump train, so therefore he's evil.
These food-like substances.
I love that. They're food-like substances. They're not food. They're food-like. I go out of my way to eat exactly 0 food-like substances. I do.
Like health. Federal policy promoted and subsidized highly processed foods and refined carbohydrates and turned a blind eye to the disastrous consequences.
Yes, the consequences have been terrible.
Today, the lies stop. The new guidelines recognize that whole, nutrient-dense food is the most effective path to better health and lower healthcare costs.
Yep.
Protein and healthy fats are essential.
Did you hear what he just said? Proteins and healthy fats are essential. Somebody talking keto? Not really,
were wrongly discouraged in prior dietary guidelines.
And they were totally discouraged.
The war on saturated fats.
And this, by the way, people are fighting this. I'm not joking. I'm showing you in a second. People are mad because we're ending the war on saturated fats. Saturated fats, I eat lots of them for years. 15 of those years.
Rich in vegetables and fruits, reduce disease risk more effectively than many drugs.
Look at that.
Whole grains outperform refined carbohydrates.
Now, this was wonderful. He doesn't say whole grains are good for you, because they're not. But what he says is whole grains perform better than processed. That's true. That if I got to eat a grain, I'd rather have a whole grain. Don't eat grains. But if you want to eat one, it outperforms. Now, he's got to say that because of farmers. I totally get it. He has to. I get it. But I think we know. So, yes.
Added sugars, especially sugar-sweetened beverages, drive metabolic
sugar
disease.
Foods.
And today our government declares war on added sugar. Highly processed foods loaded with additives, added sugar, and excess salt damage health and should be avoided. As Secretary of Health and Human Services, my message is clear: eat real food. Nothing matters more for healthcare outcomes, economic.
Hold on. People want to impeach him. I'm not joking. They've already put up articles impeaching for him. He just said, eat real food. Now, the same left that is mad at the right for impeaching or trying to impeach or attack I forgot that guy's name. The former colonel who said don't listen to illegal orders. That they're the same people who are mad at him, this guy, for saying eat real food is better for your health. What? Yes, they're mad at him.
Activity, military readiness, and fiscal stability. The dietary guidelines shape dozens of federal feeding programs, including
feeding programs.
Yep,
Head Start kids
affect 45 million school lunches every day.
Yep,
meals for 1.3 million active duty service members, and food served to 9 million veterans in VA hospitals. Today begins the work of aligning those programs with affordable, whole, nutrient-dense food. Implementation requires coordination across the government. I'm working with many of my fellow cabinet secretaries to deliver results.
Yep.
I want to thank Bobby Mukamala. Thank you very much. Who is the president of the American Medical Association for committing to mobilize the medical community on nutrition. And I thank also the American Academy of Pediatrics for pardoning.
So he's actually talking about people who are actually saying, I'm on board.
With Dr. Jay Bhattacharya.
It's not just him.
And Dr. Marty McCary to fund and prioritize rigorous nutrition research.
Actual NIH research. I'm going to cover that in a second too.
The stakes are measurable and severe. A Johns Hopkins analysis estimates that 48% of every federal taxpayer dollar now goes to healthcare.
Did you hear what he just said? 48% of every taxpayer dollar goes to healthcare. 40%. Now, all you people who are mad at RFK Jr., he's a terrible guy. What is your answer? Here's your answer. Medicare for all. So let's just stay sick and keep spending money. Let's not make people healthy. Well, we can make them healthy. How? I don't have an answer, Larry, cause stuff. So that's your answer. As I tell you all the time, bad answer, no answer to take bad answer. It's a good answer. But even if it was a bad answer, where's your good answer? Right? When I'm hammering Republicans on this, which I do all the time, when I say, Mamdani's got an answer, Republicans, you don't, and you wonder why people go Mamdani. Well, guess what? It's on the other foot now. RFK's got an answer. Where's your answer, Democrats? You don't have one. You see how he's bad. He's telling you 48%. We are a sick country. You see it everywhere. True story. You guys know my daughter's an EMT. If you pay attention, she's an EMT. EMT here in the city, in New York City. And she goes to tough places and deals with tough situations. And one day she happened to deal with a couple. In one day, she had more than one stop with black men in their 50s from the Bronx. I am a black man in my 50s from the Bronx, right? And she said they were in terrible health. And she looked and said, my God, what's wrong? These are the same. This is my dad. This is my dad. And they were in horrible health. They ate regular food with whatever the government told them to and acted that certain, and they had all kind of problems. Same age as me. 29. Same age. Shut up. Yes, same age as me, 29. Anyway, she was saying that. She was out there saying that. Yes. So I'll ask you, Democrats who hate RFK Jr. Okay, what's your answer? I'll tell you, nothing. Your answer is nothing.
The CDC reports that 90% of healthcare spending treats chronic disease.
90% treats chronic disease. All he talked about was chronic disease. What are Democrats talking about? Well, to be fair, Republicans didn't say anything, which is why Republicans didn't say anything. This guy's saving Republicans right now. He is. Republicans out there, you should love this guy. If you don't, you're silly. You should love this guy. Because the Republican answer is Obamacare bad. That's the Republican answer. Democrat answer is 48%, 58%, 90%. Spend all the money on Medicare for all. Who cares? Go broke. Democratic answer is go broke on Medicare for all. Republican answer is hate Obama. That's the Republican answer. He's giving you a damn answer. You should all be happy. I am.
That means that 40%, 40 cents of every dollar that taxpayers pay in this country is going to treat diseases that could be averted through good food.
Yep.
The United States has the highest obesity and type 2 diabetes rate in the developed world.
In the entire world, we're the worst. Entire developed world, we're the worst. Because the doctors, right?
We spend 3 times more per capita than the European nation, the European Union on healthcare. Yet our life expectancy is 5 years lower.
5 years lower.
To diet-related chronic disease.
Yep.
Our childhood obesity rate is 5 times higher than countries like France.
5 times higher.
U.S. teens have prediabetes. Over 30.
1/3 of U.S. teens have prediabetes. What is your answer? Nothing. He's got an answer. Stop complaining.
Are overweight or obese, and 20% of young adults have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. 77% of military-aged Americans are ineligible for military service.
I want you to hear that as you Republicans, for Republicans who all want to invade Venezuela and bomb people and bomb places. 70% of our military-age kids are ineligible to join. Where are you going to get all your Marines from? Where are you going to get all them soldiers you want to airdrop in? All them pilots you want to drop in bombs? Where are you going to get them from?
Because of diet-related conditions. If a foreign adversary sought to destroy the health of our children,
to
cripple our economy, to weaken our national security,
what would they do?
There would be no better strategy than to addict us to ultra-processed foods.
Look at that.
It's shocking that our own government helped to drive these cataclysmic changes in our diet. The damage is real, it is preventable, and President Trump has ordered it to end. If the United States reduced obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and Alzheimer's, the Japanese levels, we would save approximately $600 billion a year.
Now we're saving money.
50% of Medicare's projected long-term deficit, or $5,000 per family annually. Current policy worsens the problem. 42 million Americans rely on SNAP.
42 million Americans rely on SNAP. 42 million Americans getting horrible government food.
Common purchases include sugary drinks, candy, and chips. 78% of SNAP recipients are enrolled in Medicaid, and 90% of Medicaid spending goes to chronic disease. These incentives raise healthcare costs and undermine health. This must change. The new framework centers on protein and healthy fats.
Protein, healthy fats.
Vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. And you can see the food pyramid here.
And I appreciate that, guys. They have a brand new food pyramid. Someone asked me to show you the food pyramid. All right, so I'm going to do it if I can right now. Let me see if I can show you the old food pyramid. Here is the old food pyramid. Can you guys see that? At the top here, the tiny part, use sparingly, fats. Don't use much of that. Very little meat. Don't have that. Boo, protein, right? At the bottom is bread. Oh boy, lots of bread. And just do yoga. I'm not making up. It's just yoga. Let's just do yoga. And then you can eat all the bread you want. Yoga and bread and some wine. I'm not joking. That's right here. Yoga. Just do yoga, eat lots of bread and lots of fruit And then all that other, like, that's all bad. That's what it used to be. Now is what it is now. It's basically reversed. At the top here, you see lots of meat, chicken, and vegetables, real food. And at the bottom, whole grains. Very bottom, grains. Yeah, it was exactly the opposite of what will help. The exact opposite of what would help. Yeah. Huh. Weird. Isn't that weird how that worked? But that's how it is. I've been saying it forever. I've been saying it for 15 years. I've been right for 15 years, and they still been saying it. Yes. I'm about ready to wrap this piece up. Almost there, guys. I apologize. Almost there. So, all righty.
It's upside down, a lot of you will say.
Yes.
But it was actually upside down before. And we
there it is.
For the first time, the dietary guidelines directly address ultra-processed foods and set firm sugar limits in federal procurement.
Sugar limits in procurement, ultra-processed foods in procurement. So the federal government, as it feeds 42 million people, to include prisoners, to include kids, to include hospitals, is going to not be ultra-processed foods, sugary drinks. That stuff's going away. Thank you.
Driving a significant reduction in added sugar in school meals.
Yes.
I want to thank President Trump for his leadership.
All right, so I showed you that because I want to show you one more thing, if I could. After he did this and explained it all and talked about it and said, here it is, here come CBS woman who's now going to say, well, I got to make you look bad somehow because you're obviously a crazy kook because you like care about health and stuff. And let me now see how I can make you look stupid.
About these new recommendations, they like to focus on whole grains, on fruits and vegetables.
Of course they like it on whole grains. The grains, of course they do. Duh. Because that's what it used to be, eat nothing but grains. Just eat bread. You got a health problem? Bread. Just do yoga. You'll be fine. Yoga and you eat more bread. You'll be fine. And here's 17 prescriptions.
But when it comes to saturated fats, they say that saturated fats are a primary driver of cardiovascular.
Utter horseshit. Absolutely not true. Not true at all. We have been dropping saturated fats of our diets for decades. And what's the number one killer? Heart disease. Hasn't gone down at all. Statins, cholesterol drugs, all these drugs. So we're doing what they're saying and we're still needing more. Stop. Why would you believe them?
Disease. You said you're ending the war on saturated fats.
Yes.
Where is the evidence that that is a good idea?
Well, the problem is that there's no good evidence that saturated fats drive cardiac disease.
And see, she doesn't care about that. She says, where's the evidence to stop it? Where's the evidence to do it? But they say they've been wrong for 50 years. So if someone was smacking you in the face for 50 years, and I go, you should stop smacking her in the face. And she goes, what? What's your evidence you should stop smacking your face? Why are you smacking her in the first place? I don't need evidence that he shouldn't be. I need evidence he should be. So stop smacking you in the face.
That is a dogma that was based on a 1960 study that has been completely.
Adirondack home run. Fat does cause heart disease, but not the fat you eat, the fat you're carrying on your body. Yes. Yes and yes. 100% true. Particularly that visceral fat that's in your organs. That is horrible on your body. That's horrible on your body. Absolutely true. That's true. Thank you for that. Perfectly well said.
Actually, every major health association says that
look at what a knucklehead every association says, and they've been saying for 50 years, and they've been wrong for 50 years, and 77% of our young people can't join the military, 30% are almost diabetic, 30% are overweight and or obese. Listen to them. Listen to them. My spouse has been punching me for weeks, and I just think she should keep punching me. Why? Well, because no evidence, no one's ever told her to stop punching me, so I think she just keep punching me. But she's punching you. Yes. Is your face sore? Yeah, totally sore. Your eye hurt? My eyes always hurt all the time. Why? Well, she's always punching me. So you could stop her from punching you. No, but there's no evidence that would show that she stopped punching me. But there's evidence that the punching is hurting and you have a sore eye and like your nose is bleeding. Yeah, my nose is bleeding, losing teeth. It's terrible. She just keeps punching me. She cannot accept that the system could be wrong. This is one of my biggest issues that I keep bringing up. And it's not just in this. When Braun was watching, and when Braun, I used to talk to him about this. Look, people don't believe that this establishment could be wrong. They don't believe it. We got to teach them that the establishment could be wrong. She just heard the evidence. And she can't, the establishment in this case isn't government, but in her case, the establishment is medical things, whatever, in her eyes. But the establishment told me that I should be abused. So I need to keep being abused. Why? Establishment told me so.
They still believe that there's validity there.
Oh. Yes, they believe that. See, this is where RFK Jr. is nicer than I am. He's nicer than me. I would immediately scold her if I was there. If it was me, I would be like, why do you still believe it? Yes, for 50 years. Our kids are fat. They're kids. They don't have a choice. Our poor people are fat. Why? Because we're feeding them government-sponsored garbage. Our poor people are fatter than our wealthy people. That's not true in many countries. In ours, it is. Why? Because they're getting the food pyramid. Because they're getting bad food. Can't you see that? You're clearly a lefty, supposed to care about the poor people. If you care about the poor people, you should want them to be overweight compared to the rich people, should you? I would be scolding her right now, but he's not gonna because he's a nicer guy than I am.
Again, it's based upon a dogma, but not science. Science comes from scientific studies, peer-reviewed studies.
No, it doesn't. Scientists comes from what the establishment says. See, get it right, RFK. Get it right, Bobby. Come on. Studies
from experts or orthodoxies.
What?
And the study in 1960 and in the late 50s that indicated that there was a slight risk for saturated fats and cardiac disease was not based on good science. We've had years, we have decades of good science now.
We have decades of proof they're wrong. I can't. None of it's working. None of it's working.
It says protein is important. It is absolutely critical. And today, about 50% of the calories that are consumed by children in this country are ultra-processed foods.
Do you get that? What? And she's like, but you're changing things. Yes. Yes. The odds are, if she has kids, those kids are overweight. And she's like, whatever. I don't know if she has kids. I have no idea if she is, but I'm saying odds are.
It comes from 40 years of bad advice by the American Heart Association.
Thank you.
Medical Association.
Look at him saying it. Get some. 40 years of bad advice by the American Heart Association. The American Heart Association has existed for decades. And what's still the number one killer of Americans? Heart disease. Somebody messing up. Somebody messing up.
Other associations that puts Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid.
Bingo.
We all know that sugar's not good for you, salt's not good for you, ultra-processed foods, refined carbohydrates are not good for you. Protein is good, real food.
Yep.
Protein, dairy, fruit and vegetables, and then...
This is what they're mad at this guy. He's saying, hey, protein and real food and fruits and vegetables, they're good for you. And she's like, I hate you, RFK. How dare you say that? But here's the worst part. They would rather force poor people to eat it. Now, poor, by their definition, poor people. They would rather do that. Force them to eat it. He's saying, you could still eat it if you want to. He's not pulling Fruit Loops off the shelf. He's not saying you can't have cheeseburgers. Eat them. I can't have bread. Eat all the bread you want. And you do yoga. Sort of picture. Do yoga. Anyway, eat the bread if you want to. He's saying that the government's not going to lie to you and say it's good for you. You want to make a decision? Make a decision. Up to you.
Grains, whole grains. That's what Americans should be eating, and that is what the science says, and our study is a science-based report, and all the citations are in it.
There we go.
There is some conflicting research when it comes to saturated fat. So how did you decide to come down on one side rather than the other? And can you share with us who you relied upon?
Now, this is her way of later on saying, oh, yeah, I want to let you know that I can find out who you relied on so I can discredit you. She just wants to discredit. This is her goal, to discredit.
Make these decisions.
Well, those citations are all in the report.
And he says, he puts in the report. Read the report. She ain't reading that report.
Just so that you know, there
report.
is a cap on saturated fats of 10% of the diet.
Yes.
It's pretty low. It's a lot of people thought it should be much, much higher. What we're stressing is that people should be eating protein.
I eat fat all the time. I don't eat enough fat all the time. Constantly.
Saturated fats, but protein in all of its forms.
There are a lot of doctors who will applaud the focus on discouraging ultra-processed foods.
Look at how dismissive she is. You know, there's some doctors who do some what you say. I mean, we all know you're crazy, but you know, whatever.
Highly processed, packaged foods in the.
If that's true, where have those doctors been for the past 40 years? If what you're saying is true, Ms. Establishment, if what you're saying is true, where have they been for 40 years? Right, nowhere. They've been nowhere. That's where they've been.
Diet. But how?
Oh, they got censored. Do
you discourage the food industry from selling those foods? Because
now she's saying, you know, this capitalism, what are you going to do? So she became a capitalist. Look at that. If it will attack her enemy, she's now a capitalist. I love it. She's libertarian, basically. Basically, she's libertarian. She's become libertarian. I love how whenever it's appropriate to attack my enemy, I'm libertarian now. Oh, I've always been. To attack RFK Jr., libertarian as can be.
Because they are designed to be highly desirable and to promote binge eating.
Well, I mean, our purpose, there's no mandates in the dietary guidelines.
Bingo. I want every one of you to understand that. There are no mandates to the dietary guidelines. Here's the problem. People want an excuse to be unhealthy. And the former guidelines gave an excuse. I was doing the yoga and eating the bread. I don't know why I was 355 pounds. I don't know why. It's the government's fault. Now, don't do the, you can do yoga if you want to. You don't have to anymore. All of a sudden now we see that the government's saying, this, you're not, if you want to eat the bread and do yoga, I don't care. You can. If you want to eat the Fruit Loops, eat them. Cheeseburgers, eat them. You can. But you know, no excuse anymore. You know it's bad.
We're going to change the food culture in America because they dictate what we sell, what we feed to our military. They dictate what we have in school lunch programs.
Yes. School lunch and military. Hospitals, prisons, all run by government.
Dictate on we're eating what children are eating in subsidized programs like Head Start.
Which means the poorer kids are getting hammered. And I thought the Democrats would love the poor kids. They keep telling us that. I hear that all the time. They tell me that. Sounds like they don't.
In prisons and other places where the federal government subsidizes the food. But if you're American and you want to eat a donut, you're going to be able to eat a donut. We're not taking food away from people. We're just telling them that's not good for you. That the costs of eating that food are going to be enormous in the long run, and they're going to cost you your health.
I want to ask.
There we go. Yes.
About another big decision by the administration this week, the CDC's new vaccine guidelines, which include.
Now, she's like, I couldn't get past you on that. So I'm going to hammer you on the jab. I got you on that one. I'm going to get you on the jab.
Recommendations that all kids get vaccinated for flu, rotavirus, and hepatitis A. What is the scientific basis for rolling back recommendations for vaccines that have been proven safe and effective for 50 years?
Now she goes, proven safe and effective for 50 years. She had to add that. She couldn't just say, why did you say no? No, has to add it because you're a kook. So you're crazy and stupid. So it's proven right. Because here's the thing, remember, you all got to understand this. Okay, just because government scientists have been, or scientists, government experts have been utterly, totally wrong on all the nutrition stuff they've told us for 50 years at least. Utterly and totally wrong. And the outcomes have been demonstrably terrible to the point we can't even put our military together, to where our kids are a disaster and they've got fatty livers and they don't drink. Just because that. I mean, the jab, what's wrong with you? Of course they're perfect on that one. Of course they are. Proven safe and effective, just like the awesome pyramid. And she says this not only with a straight face, but with a smugness that makes me want to scream at her. With a smugness that makes, and see, he's better than me. I would have scolded her. I would scold her right now with what I just said. I would scold her right now. But he's a nicer guy than I am.
Again, the science is in the report. What we did is we looked at the scientific evidence, and we looked at the practices, the best practices of our peer nations, the European nations.
European nations.
And what we centered on was the vaccines that are used by everybody.
Isn't every nation different, though? We're the most advanced nation in the world.
Oh, look at that. Look at that horrible horseshit. What an embarrassment. Gee, God, what an embarrassment. In every other case, this one would be saying, and you know she would, well, we should be like our European counterparts. Why aren't we like other nations in the world? She'd be saying that. But now, well, clearly France is like backward. I mean, they are. But clearly every country, like Germans, science and Germans doesn't go together. Kind of does. But it doesn't go together at all. We're more advanced, so we should have more jabs. That is her logic. She won't let him finish because what he was saying was, look, the rest of the world doesn't do this. And we have the worst outcomes. We have the worst outcomes, and they don't do what we do. So we're going to go see what they're doing and be like them a bit to see if we have better outcomes. But we're America. Now all of a sudden she's America. F yeah. I don't want to say that word because I get banned on YouTube, but you know what I'm saying? Now she's like, now we're Team America World Police all of a sudden. That's her now. Man. So she went from clearly being a lefty to all of a sudden being, now she's like, I don't know. Now she's a jingoistic neocon. She's a neocon now. I had no idea. She's now a neocon. She'll be anything to get him. She was a libertarian. Now she's a neocon. I love it.
When it comes to science and medicine,
we also have the sickest population. The countries that have
the sickest population. She smacks her. Did you get the sickest population? Yes.
Fewer vaccines actually have much healthier populations than us.
Less jabs, healthy population. Now, that doesn't mean that that's directly. It may not be. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying that, though, is why wouldn't you try it if it could be the case, and it seems that it could be the case, and he has some evidence saying it is the case? Why wouldn't you? Again, to be clear, he's not banning the jabs. If you so scared, you got to get your kid all the heps. Get your kid all the heps. Terrible idea, but do it. It's your parent. You want to show me how righteous you are by wrecking your child's immune system. You get to be the wokest of the woke. You're better than all of them. I'll buy a t-shirt. Good luck.
Is that because people use vaccines? Where's the evidence for that?
Not necessarily. But the vaccines are not sparing them those diseases. So in all of those countries believe that if you put too many vaccines on the schedule, and vaccines that are unnecessary to stop common diseases that actually threaten children's health, that it is going to decrease uptake. It decreases the faith of the public in the vaccine schedule. First of all
right, I'm here. I see you guys talking about commercials. Look, I don't know how YouTube does commercials. I don't know. Here is what's supposed to happen. I try to have it go. The max is like every 20 minutes. So I put in that. So we've been on about 40 minutes. You should have no more than 3 commercials, right? If you have one early, 20 minutes and 20 minutes. So maybe you're on your third one, should be. If you have more than 2 or 3 commercials so far, I don't know what's happening. You should not. I try to go every 20 minutes. So if I do an hour show, that's only 3 commercials. If it's a 2-hour show, it's 5. That's all there is. So I don't know why. I hope it's not bad. I go as long as I can, right? Which is a 20-minute one, whatever they give me. That's what I do. So that's what I put in, the long one. That's what I do. So Yeah, I hope if YouTube's doing something else, that part's not me. Is all I'm saying. YouTube does weird stuff. That part's not me.
People should know we're not taking vaccines away from anybody. If you want to get the vaccine, you can get it. It's going to be fully covered by insurance, just like it was.
There we
before.
go. But you can get the vaccine still covered by insurance.
It is more difficult now for parents to get their children immunized.
Okay, this is what they go. He's making it harder. You get a prescription. That's it.
For the flu, right? They can't just go to a pharmacy. They'll have to consult with their doctor first.
You have to. You need to do a shared decision making with your physician.
You have to go to a doctor before you make a decision on your kid's health. What? Before you inject something into your child's veins, you have to go to a doctor first who will just tell you yes. Who will just say yes. Now, he might advise no, but if you go, I don't care, I want to turn my kid into a pincushion, he will go, okay. Of course he will. They're doing it now. They're doing it now. This is a non-starter. This is just, if you see this interview is just to try to make him look bad, and she knows it and she's doing it anyway.
Which is how
so
it would be.
Fewer people will get the flu vaccine.
Well, that may be, and maybe that's a better thing.
Based on what evidence? There were 290 kids who died last year due to the flu.
So first off, we don't know how and where she made that up. We don't know that. But even if it is, let's assume she's right and more kids died. Maybe, I don't know if it's true, but let's assume it's true. Here's the most important piece. We don't know what's happening with the jabs of the other millions of people who are getting it. We don't know. Some people say they know. I'm saying I don't know. Whether I know or not, my life is mine. My life is mine. Not yours, righteous woman. Mine. If I want to get a jab, I'll get one. And if I don't, I won't. And if you want to get a jab, go get one. If you want to jab your kids, go jab them. You may. No one is stopping you. The self-righteousness of hers, well, we have to force people. No, you don't. You don't. Here's how it always works. If people start seeing that the jab works, they will go get the jab because they care about their health. Here's the weird thing. You don't understand. People care about their own health and they care about their kids' health. In fact, most people, sadly, or maybe not sadly, care more about their kids' health than their own. Most people who have kids actually would rather care more about their own kids than their own health. Most parents do. It's true. So give them the information and they want to get the stick, they go get it. Again, I want to be clear, everyone listening. No one's being stopped. This is her being mad. We're not being forced.
There's no evidence that any kids died or were harmed due to the flu vaccine. So is it
no evidence? She just says it. She knows this. It's a lie, but that's fine.
Inevitably going to lead to more children dying?
The Cochrane collaboration, which is kind of one of the ultimate arbiters of vaccine safety and clinical data, has done.
Here we go. So I won't go any further. It's just about that. And then she goes into one piece where she goes, well, they give out 4 million jabs and it saved, I'm not making this up, one life. And she's like, that makes sense. But you had to give out 3 million forced jabs to save one life. I'm not making it up. She actually, one life. She makes it one life. One. Prior to the stick, 3 kids died. After the stick of millions, 2 died. And that's ongoing. So 3 used to die every year. Now 2 die every year. 1 kid. Millions. And she's totally fine with it. It's insane. Anyway, I've yapped away. I gave a long time on this. It's important to me to bring this up. I thought it mattered a lot. I really want you guys to see that this is important. But more importantly, that they just want to attack him. They just want to attack him. They will do whatever they can to make him look bad because that's that. All righty. Let me grab some comments and such, and I'll move down the road if I can. But there is something I do want to bring up. I do want to say this up. Okay, before I go any further, I want you to talk about this. You don't have to disagree with everything I'm saying. I mean, I'm always right, but that's the point. You don't have to always agree if you don't want to. You don't have to. Here's what I want you to do, though. I want you to click the button known as like. I want you to share, repost if you haven't already. And I want you to subscribe to this channel or follow this page if you haven't done so already. It does matter. Please do so. Every bit does count. Every time we can do it, it does help. Please do it if you can. All right. Not just that. You might want other people to talk about this before, other ideas, not just stuff that I say. I get it. I mean, it doesn't matter, but you might want to, and I'm okay. And it's a place where you can get that. I think you know where that place is. You knew it was civil because it's always civil. It's true. And I'm going to show you something which does drive me crazy, but I'm going to show it to you because I practice what I preach. And this is, believe it or not, Maha, the Ultra Processed Food and Bad Science by Gary, I think it's Taubes. I think that's how you say his name. And this is over on Civil. And he basically spends, I don't know, an hour or so talking with two people who hate RFK Jr. at Reason, the Republicans at Reason who hate RFK Jr., and he hates him too, so they just talk bad about him for about an hour.
Food dyes, I just don't know. Like if I think of a classic example is, let's take Fruit Loops, which were in the news about 6 months ago because they're made in the U.S. with a dye that's possibly considered harmful. So here's
dismissive. RFK just said what they're doing in Europe, they have less death. Well, in Europe, they don't take the dyes that we take. They go, no. So if you're a Fruit Loop company, you make the dye, you make the Fruit Loops in Europe with the dyes. In America, the dyes. And he's like, well, maybe, possibly, who knows, whatever. He doesn't care. His kids aren't eating Fruit Loops. He got money. He's fine. What about the average kid in the average America who's putting a bunch of dyes in their body and dying? He don't care.
The product where it's a refined grain full of sugar. I don't know what the sugar content of a Fruit Loop is, but I'm going to guess it's in the neighborhood of 40% of the calories come from sugar. And then it's dyed to be colorful, so it can be sold with a toucan on the cover of the box. What's the problem? The food dyes or the sugar?
Mm-hmm. Utterly dismissive. And they're all dismissive. Food dyes, bad. Sugar, bad. This guy's an expert. But look, if you want to hear the opposite side, you don't want to hear what I have to say, which they're all wrong. You don't want to hear that? You have another side here. They have an actual conversation. They do talk about it. And I'm talking about it too. This is what civil's about. Civil is indeed civil. Excuse me. It's a civil way of actually having a conversation about civilization. We are upgrading civilization here on Civil. Every single time I show you a show, what do I show you? Something interesting on Civil for you to watch. And here it is again. Civil, CIVL.com. Code is Larry10. That is Larry, the coolest name on the internet, plus 10 for 10% off. Please pop on if you can. Watch some of these cool shows. Enjoy these things. You'll want to throw like a shoe at your computer, but that's okay. If you hear their arguments, you can dismantle them. You can do it. You have a conversation here, have the back and forth. We can upgrade civilization without the conflict machine. That's the glory of Civil. Civil.com, code CIVL.com, Larry10 for 10% off. Thank you guys for supporting the show. All right, let me grab some more of these if I could. All righty. John says, has he made true long-lasting impact? Nope. I don't think we know yet. That's my 2 cents on that one. I think you might be right, but I don't think we know yet. So I think we'll find out in a minute. Shelley says, RFK is getting people to put their trust in grounded studies that aren't based on money influencing the outcome. He has it translated into major victory yet? No, but it's in your public expectation. I think that's true. I think that's true. If we see in the coming years, I mean, this will take years for us to see it. I hope 3 or 4 years from now, we see better outcomes in the health in America. I hope we do. And if that is true, I think he will then have had some long-lasting impact. I hope it does happen. So, yeah, I hope so. Vivek says, I'm curious what you think about Venezuela. I've seen libertarians who support it and those against it. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. It's not true. Excuse me. You've seen none who support it, because if anyone supports it, I'm libertarian. So you've not seen that. You've seen people who support it and libertarians who are against it. I'm probably against the argument, but the arguments for aren't too bad. The arguments for are terrible. They're utter garbage. They're not true at all. We shouldn't be dealing with it at all. It's, excuse my cough. I talked about this a couple of days ago. The idea of the attack on Venezuela, grabbing their president and kidnapping him basically, is a terrible idea. It should not have been done. The idea of now we're trying to stop oil tankers and blockade. Horrible idea. Look, I don't want to talk about, I said all the time, there really is no such thing as international law. I mean, it's a veneer of something, but we know the world is might makes right. That's what the world is. No one's going to punish Putin for his invasion of Ukraine. It's not going to happen. No one's going to punish Trump for him literally just going in and taking out a president and deciding, well, we indicted him in our country, so therefore we can take him. Imagine that. What if the Turks indict Trump? So can the Turks come over and just take Trump because they indicted him? No. We do it because we're America. America. That's us. That's why we do it. And it's terrible. It's a bad idea. Why is it a bad idea? What we just said, well, he's in our hemisphere, whatever bullshit lie that is. I'm not a lie, but a bullshit story that is. Well, then Putin can invade Ukraine, can he? Of course he can. He can invade Belarus if he wants to. It's his backyard, right? It's not his backyard. It's someone else's house. Venezuela is not our backyard. It's someone else's house. It's not our backyard. It's just not. The drug thing's a lie. If the drug thing is real, if it is, and it's not, but if it is, Vivek, if it's real, in the next 3 months, you're going to see a massive decrease in overdoses, a massive decreases in drug problems. You're not going to. There's no change because it's a lie. It's not true. The drugs are coming out of Mexico and China, and they'll say that, oh, now it's the terrorists now are in there. Utter garbage. If that were true, then why didn't we invade them when we invade Afghanistan? None of that's true. Remember, neocons always lie into war. It's what they do. I wouldn't say neocons. In this case, neocons. But again, Biden lied us into war. So did it? Yeah, he did. So did Obama. So did Bush. So did Clinton. They all lie us into war. All the wars are garbage. None of them are valuable. None of them matter. Nothing good comes from this. And anyone who supports it, you can support it if you want to. But how can you be libertarian and support this? How can you? How can you? We're physically just taking people's oil, I guess, or whatever. This is about the petrodollar. This is about the petrodollar. This is a desperate attempt to hold off BRICS, which I understand it. But if that were the case, Vivek, then I would just say it. I would literally, if I was president and I honestly believe that this is the end, BRICS is going to get rid of us, and I really believe it was the end of the country, if I believe that, I mean, I don't, but if I did, I would go to Congress and say, Congress, we need to declare war on Venezuela tomorrow. Why? And we got to take their oil and make sure all the oil that comes out of Venezuela is bought with dollars, not with the BRICS-backed stuff, not with local currencies, not with the Chinese yuan, not with rubles. That oil has got to be bought by dollars or we're screwed. It's national security. Then just say that. Just say it. We've set ourselves up to a system to where if that oil isn't bought by dollars, we are in trouble. We like the country could go under. Let's do it. And they would have been like, oh, damn, okay, invade. Now, me going to Congress, at that point, Maduro goes, oh, geez, going to Congress, done. What you need? What you need? What you need? Tell me what you need. That's what he would do. We wouldn't have to do this at all. We just would have had everything sold. But now what did we just do? If you saw what happened, the second we left, the woman in charge now, who's the first people she saw? Ambassador to China, ambassador to Russia, ambassador to Iran. I'm not joking. That's what happened. Pushed them more into their arms. This was insanely stupid. That's not true. It wasn't stupid. They knew what they were doing. It was wrong and bad and not going to help and desperate. So that's my view on it. There are people who support it. They're not libertarians. They're people who aren't libertarians. And you may. I know people who support this. I do. And I know people who support it. I know they do. Most Republicans support this. Because drugs or America, whatever. This will come back to bite us. As all of them do. As all of them do. Afghanistan, a lie. Iraq, a lie. Syria, a lie. We're going to support the Venezuelans so that the money goes to them and it supports democracy or whatever they say. That will happen in Syria. Iraq. Afghanistan. Is that what happened? Vietnam. What about to Vietnam? Any of that? Never. Never works. Never helps. Always bad. Never. Didn't even work in Yugoslavia. Didn't even work in Yugoslavia. And we arrested dude in Yugoslavia too. Didn't work there either. Never does. Never does. So Josh asked, now you got that too? Yes, same thing. Same thing, yes. Total yes. All right. Nosy says, RFK is making change. The tell will be in the Americans who realize RFK is taking the reins from big pharma when doctors can't practice medicine without their hands tied. You know, here is my issue, and I know you mean can. Our medical community, for those who don't know, is in real trouble. What I mean by that, Larry, I know no. I mean, like, nurses are quitting in droves, doctors are quitting in droves. And I've been talking about this for years. Since 2018, I was about how we have to let healers heal. Remember that from 2018? Leave the doctors alone, let healers heal. This really exploded during the Obama years. It's been bad for a while, but it exploded when Obama made Obamacare, the ADA, not the ADA, the ACA. When Obamacare came out, several things happened. One, it handicapped doctors. For those who don't know, it is against the law for a doctor to own a hospital. I'm not joking. The second that happened, what did you just do? You invited private equity into the medical field. What do you think was going to happen? That's Obama. Can we find a way to make that's Obama? Let's do it. Let's invite them in. And they did. They came in. You invited the vampire in your house, and you're mad that he turned into vampires. Well, you invited the guy in your house, and now he's in your house. Did I just call private equity vampires? I kind of did, yes. But I don't care. That's what happened. And now you see doctors leaving left and right. So everything is set up for doctors to be punished. And they are. And for nurses to be punished. And they are. That's why this is a time in America now, and again, I told this in 2018, where now doctors tell their children, don't become a doctor. That wasn't a thing 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you could find doctors, in multiple families, in multiple generations. Like, my dad was a doctor, so now my granddad was, so someone in the dad's level was, someone in the granddad, right? Someone in every generation was a doctor. You can see that happens often. It used to happen. Now, no. It's harder and harder ever to find an American-born doctor. They don't want to do it. Why would they? And they're quitting in droves. TikTok trends. I'm not even joking. Go TikTok, you see surgeons quitting, doctors quitting, nurses quitting. They're all quitting left and right. Shortages everywhere. And ask people how they feel about the service. Terrible. Why don't we fix it, Larry? Medicare for all will magically fix it. No, it won't. The only way to fix it what you just said, when doctors can practice on their own. When we let healers heal, will actually work. Until then, it will never work. It will just become worse. And why don't they change it? Because the wealthy go to private doctors. That's why I live in New York City. I see it's a two-tier system. The wealthy go to private doctors. Private doctors don't care. They're doing good. They're not quitting because they don't take insurance. Private doctors in New York City don't take insurance. They provide you with a receipt. And if you have an amazing healthcare plan, well, one of those Cadillac ones, the healthcare plan takes the receipt and it gives you some reimbursement to the receipt. You go out of a network, which are out of networks. They don't take it because they don't take insurance, and you get some kind of response. So the doctor charges me, $300 for a visit, whatever that is, because I'm wealthy. I can afford $300 for a visit easily. I'm wealthy. $300, no big deal. So I go to my visit, I pay $300 for my visit, $250, $300, whatever it is, and then my insurance company gives me $100 back or something. So I paid $200. I'm wealthy. I don't care. It's fine. I don't want to adopt that much. I saw my credit card. I'm good. So you poors, I don't care. Do your Medicare for all. You'll get a couple doctors who'll do whatever. It'll be a disaster. If anything, I'm making it up. Just type into any of the social medias. Doctors quitting. I quit doctor. Nurses quit. You'll see video upon video upon video upon video. It's happening everywhere. So you are correct. Nosy, you are correct. Yes. All righty. I'm sorry. Yes, because I have no answers. Sorry, I muted myself again. I can't unmute myself. I'm bad at this. So, all righty. I'll walk down this road if I can. Larry for governor. Thank you. She says, Larry, we take the Republican line. Why or why not? I am leaning more and more towards yes. I haven't decided yet if I want to try to take the line. It's not easy. It's not an easy decision to make. The team behind me, I've been making a lot of phone calls. Some of you got phone calls from me. I've been calling people. So yeah, I haven't decided yet. I'm leaning towards yes. That's what I would tell you. I'm leaning towards yes. Literally, she says yes. Take the line. I get it. Yes. All righty. Where am I? So I got that one. All right. D says, did anyone catch the video meme out of Sharpe Facebook? It went viral, over 1 million views. Not sure if Virus ever had a viral clip before. To be fair, it was a spicy ape. It was spicy. It was. Guys, if you check it out, it was fun. Go to my YouTube page. It was spicy. But yeah, that's good. I don't mind. So I did bring up the food pyramid already, so thank you for that. All right, Brana says, you're surprised that left hates RFK. Not me. They hate Gates when he was, they hated Gates when he was a software monopolist. Love him that he's a medical monopolist. Ooh, nice. They loved Elon when he just sold crappy electric cars. Now hate him. Left has no principles at all. I don't know much to say to that. Yes, I guess is what, yeah, yes. I'm not saying I was surprised. I was just kind of teasing, right? I mean, I saw it, right? I watched the left. I defended him. For those of you who know, I was a surrogate for RFK Jr. in 2024. And I defended him against Democrats and Republicans in the press. Yes, absolutely. I defended him against Cenk Uygur on News Nation. It's true. So I saw it firsthand. I was the guy you threw out there. I had to go out there and I had to go scrap. I don't mind scrapping, Brana. I had to go scrap. So yes. Strayer, how are you? Says, my father's doctor recommended yogurt instead of prescribing probiotics. I'm amazed. He's now eating yogurt instead of ice cream. I wish he could eat the yogurt in the morning, but hands. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. That's a emoji. Thank you. All right. Yeah. No. Here's the issue. For those you know about probiotics, unless they are a specific type of probiotic, most of them you eat aren't going to work for you. I'm being very forward with you. Unless there's a specific type. And the type you want is a type in the capsule that is time delayed. Why? Probiotics have to go into the large intestine at the end in the colon. That's why they have to live in that area. They get broken up early and they go into the small and they're not there and they go out and they die and it doesn't work. Right. So there are two things you can do. Number one, get the ones that are time sensitive, that time capsule release. So they come in later. That's option one. Option two, just eat more fermented foods. Either one works. And that's why yogurt's good, because yogurt's a fermented food. That's why. Those of you who know my diet, I eat sauerkraut every day. Every day. Well, not every day, but 9 out of 10 days that when I'm at home, I eat it. When I'm out, I don't always get sauerkraut, but I eat sauerkraut all the time. Why? Fermented food. And I am German, so it's kind of in my blood. So yeah, so I eat sauerkraut every day. That's my fermented food every day. Mustard too, fermented. So I do that. So I always try to eat those types of foods, and that keeps my gut health strong. And by the way, I'm such a fanatic in this, Strayer. I literally order and or purchase different sauerkrauts from different farms so I get a different biome when I buy. So I'll buy from this place, change it by that place, change it by that place. So different biomes. So yes, I actually care about that stuff. I do care about that. I tell you guys often, I spend a lot of time and a lot of money that I spend. I don't have a fancy watch. I don't have a fancy car. I don't have fancy clothes. I spend it on food. Borna says 77% not eligible to join the military. It's a good start. Yeah, but that means they're also not prepared to defend your own community either, Bronner. That's not a good start. I want them to voluntarily not want to go fight back. I want them to voluntarily not go, bomb people in foreign wars, but I want them to be in shape to defend their own communities. So this is not the way of doing it. I'm not with that. Andrea says the French eat tons of butter and they're healthier. Yep. Am I thinking saturated fat? Saturated fat's not a thing. I mean, it isn't, but it's not a bad thing. It isn't. D says, sounds like it's almost time for the keto episode on the Sharpe Way. Maybe we will do one. We kind of did one today, though, didn't we? Kind of, but yes. Yeah. John says, I don't care what health you're in. If you advocate for war, and especially if you vote for war, someone in your family will support for duty. It's not a bad idea. Well, back in the day, John, that was the thing, right? I mean, Vietnam was the end of that. Vietnam and prior to Vietnam, all of the aristocracy in all the nations, America included, would always send at least one son to the military. Always. You see a good example of this is, remember the movie The Godfather? Italian immigrant family, and Michael Corleone fought in World War II, right? In the movie, he was a World War II veteran. So you find them, that you always, any aristocracy, it was expected that at least one son of every generation would join the military. Now, if there was a war then, great. If there wasn't, great. But you would always send one of your sons to go fight in the wars. That ended in Vietnam. That's when everyone started dodging the draft, all that stuff. But that was the way to do it. Many times they were officers, right? Many times, but not always. Sometimes in the case of The Godfather, he was enlisted, but still. And if you remember, they even say it in the movie when he writes, he says, you know, Michael, we're happy you being a war hero. They've said that because they considered themselves aristocracy in the mob, and they had to show their loyalty, and they sent someone off to war, and it was Michael. Someone went to war. That was it. So, all right. D goes on to say, in general, I'm not going to listen to anything that comes out of government of what I should eat. I don't need them telling me what to put in my mouth. True. Yes. Mike says, but you don't understand, Larry. Meat's bad for the environment. You know, you're right. You know, this is bad for the environment. Humans. So there's always that. So, yes. Bruno says, I eat whatever Mrs. B serves me, and I don't care if it kills me. Look, here's the reality. Whether you like RFK Jr. or not, he is not mandating anything. He's not forcing anything. So if you like what Mrs. B serves, please enjoy. That's all. Yes, please enjoy. So there we go. All righty. John says, one of the issues with grains is they've been altered so much and farmers use so much fertilizer pest control that it's very different from the grains of 100 years ago. Yes, the grains, it's grass. I'm not making that up. It's just grass. It's grass that's modified. It's modified grass. That's what it is. So yes, you're correct. And now you've modified it for so long and fertilizer pest control. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. 100%. D says whole food as much as possible. Unfortunately, our lifestyle makes it convenient to eat out of a box. It does. And not just that, not only is it convenient, it seems like normal and appropriate, right? Like we aren't surprised that grab something with the plastic thing and open it and eat it. It's like, it's what we've been doing for years. It seems to be the norm. We see it on TV. Our friends do it. I think we see it all the time. I agree. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. I go out of my way to not do that. I go out of my way to try to cook as much as I can. If I'm not on the road, I cook almost every meal for me and my daughters, almost every meal. So yes, I'm with you. So Shelly says, I ate 1.75 pounds of beef today. Good for you. Good for you. I usually eat a pound of beef a day and 4 eggs. That's usually my protein intake every day. Usually a pound of beef, grass-fed, grass-finished, and pasture-raised eggs. To the best of my ability, whenever I can. So, all righty. We keep going down here for some of these here. Christopher says, RFK doesn't get enough credit. Yeah, he gets attacked all day long. Yes. Bruno says, I don't believe they've been wrong for the years. I believe they've been lying for the years. Ooh. Yes. Nosy says, seed oils cause the inflammation that is root of all disease. I've heard people say that. I don't know how true that is, but I don't have any seed oils. I don't trust it. The only oils that I have is olive oil. And I'm sorry, also avocado oil. If I ever make like fried chicken or something, I will fry it in some type of keto-friendly batter, whether that is out of almond flour or something like that. And I use avocado oil if I'm gonna do any deep frying. I hardly have deep fry, but if I do, I use that. It's the keto-friendliest deep fry that I can find. So yeah. Andrea goes on to say, and they wonder why we aren't happy when we are malnourished from the food we eat. There's the issue. I'm glad you brought that up. America does not have a starvation problem. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. Kids are starving. Utter lie. That's absolutely not true. Kids are not starving in America. It's not a thing. Are they malnourished? Yes. Yes, they are. Lots of us are, but they're not starving. It's not a thing. Do some kids go to bed hungry? Some do, but none are starving. That's not a thing. There's food available in America for all the people who want to get it. The amount of people who starve to death in America are under 20 every year in the entire country of 300 some odd million, 400 million, whatever we have, under 20. And it's always somehow on purpose, meaning like we're punishing the elderly by not feeding them. I'm not joking. That's a thing that people do to hurt their elderly. Like it's a crime, right? Most of it's crimes. I'm not even joking. Like people like literally starving their kids to death because they're like trying to kill them, that kind of thing. That's most of them. That's how that happens. So anyway, okay, I'm not talking about crimes. So yes. All righty. Nosy says, Shelly, cooking with probiotics is not good. He kills probiotics. I am fanatical on this one too, Nosy. I try my best when I'm cooking to have things as raw as possible. I have a salad almost every day. It's raw, obviously. Sauerkraut, raw, obviously. But even my eggs, barely cooked, like very loose and runny. People who know me know I love runny eggs, barely cooked. And like my meat, very rare. So I even try to eat all of that stuff as I try to go as raw as possible. I remember years ago, maybe 30 years ago, it was I don't know if it's still true, but there was a trend of people who called themselves raw-tarians. I don't know if that still exists, but it was kind of like a fad a while ago. I don't know how long if it's still in the a fad or not, but it was. And there were people who were eating like 10 servings of raw everything every day. I'm like, damn, sounds kind of cool. So maybe I'll try that. So D goes on to say, the fact that doctors spend a little time on nutrition should be alarming for everybody when it really matters what people shovel in their mouth, pills included. Yes. Brona says, whenever I hear the expert consensus, I do the opposite. John says, scientific studies are designed to find the results the person paying for the study wants to find. True. Nate says, like, comment, share. He is right, guys. Please like and please comment and please share. You may say, Larry, why do you keep asking that? Because, as I told you, I've cut my marketing in half. I need help pushing this forward. I need you guys to help me out. How do I do that? That's how. Like, comment, and share. It does matter. There's one other way you can help me out if you want to do so, and that is looking, if you would, at the description in YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. If you look there, you're going to find a link that says link to the advocates. When you click on that link, it's going to take you to theadvocates.org. It's going to take you to there. If you head over to theadvocates.org, you will notice you can take any of these single issue surveys. We're mad and pissed off. Great. Take the civil disobedience protest survey. How's it going, right? Take that one. Take it. When you click on it, answer the question. When you ask the first question, you move on. Which of the following mostly closely aligns with your beliefs? Pick the one that's most close and then move on. Next one. Pick the one that's most close and move on. Pick the one that's most close. And when you're done, share it. That's it. It's simple. It's free. Takes maybe 3 minutes. Take it, get the results, share them. Why? The more people who come to the advocates, the more people who take these quizzes, the more conversations we're having. And this is what I want. I want people to change their culture, their way of thinking. Why? Because if you understand that self-government is possible, if you understand that community government is possible, and that community capitalism is possible, if you understand that community control and community values are possible, you will push away from the centralized control of the big government because you'll believe it's possible. You won't think, if I don't have big daddy government, the world will end. It will not, if you believe it will not. The advocates for self-government are pushing this, and I want to help them. That's why they're my sponsor. Please help them grow. If they grow, I grow, we grow. Take these surveys. I know I ask you every show, but I know a lot of you aren't doing it. I can see the numbers. A lot of you aren't doing it. So please go do it. It's 3 minutes. Take it and share it. I'm not doing it because I'm bored. I'm doing it because it matters. So please do it. It helps tremendously. The advocates for self-government. All right. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. Fran says, I already grow much of my own veggies. Yes. Andrea says she doesn't want to give up the garbage. I think a lot of that's true. And she shouldn't have to. There's the problem. She doesn't have to give up the garbage at all. She doesn't have to give up the garbage, but she wants an excuse. Right? You can still eat it. No one's stopping you. Yes. Mike says, trying to convince people the establishment is wrong on any issue is the most difficult thing I've ever attempted. It is. You are right. You're not wrong. Brona says, you folks know how mental health issues get into or removed from the psychiatric Bible consensus. Oh, yes. You know what consensus is? A vote, not science. Correct. Nicely done. You're right. Absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. Krista says the food pyramid that has been ingrained in me since childhood in the 70s. I see people still talk about it all the time. All the time. I can't eat that. It's fattening. What do you mean fattening? That's what it is. Fattening. What's fattening? It's got fat in it. So if it's got fat in it, it's fattening. I'm not joking. All the time I hear that. Yes. Frankel's going to say, I eat real fat, not the fake crap. Thank you. Me too. I do a lot of fat. It's true. So, all right. Let's see here. Bronna says she's as libertarian as Mitt Romney and Lindsey Graham. Yes, absolutely. Laura says, thanks for unloading, Larry. I don't feel so crazy by myself. Love you, Larry. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Andrea says they put so many grains on the food pyramid because there was a grain surplus and they want us to eat it up. Yes. And also remember, the government pays the farmers to make grains. So, yes. He says the episode of Landman where the waitress asked Tommy if he wants breakfast cereal. She says, it's the most important meal of the day. He responds by, you think it's cereal? Who tells us this? The cereal companies tell us this. Very true. Very true. Absolutely. Craig says, thank God deer meat's kosher. The best meat there is. Yeah. Oh, picture the Punisher. By the way, the Punisher, just because he shows that one, they tell you the Punisher like 3 or 4 times, movies and such. That series was the best Punisher series of all the movies. Best one. Absolutely true. That was the best one. He was a great Punisher. So Francis, MREs. Oh my effing God. Talk about carrying a bricker. Yes. However, let me give you some yes with MREs. So those who don't know, an MRE MRE stands for meal ready to eat. That's what MRE stands for. It's the food given to most soldiers, sailors, Marines when they're out in the field. Well, not sailors. They usually get hot food if they're on a ship. But if they're out in the field, then you get the MRE. You carry it with you. You carry your food. They're very packed with calories. One MRE, if I remember right, you're supposed to have like 2 or 3 a day. One is like 2,000 calories. Like it's like a lot. It's a lot of calories. If you eat the whole thing, it's like 2,000. It's a lot. But of course, it's supposed to be, friend. The reality of it is they make it so that what happens if you've got to start rationing your MREs, you only have to get 1 or 2 a day. You can survive on it if you have to. And if you're in combat, you are burning you guys who are soldiers and Marines, sales and a little bit, but if you're on the ground side, but when you're out in the field, I mean, I remember some of you guys who've been, this, you march for 8 hours, you dig fighting holes, you go on guard or patrol, you sleep, you get back up, you march again for 8 hours, you redig all your fighting holes. Yeah, you're just boom, boom, again and again and again. You're burning it all. If you remember, for those guys who are in the service, you remember, people would often go, man, I'm putting on weight. I'm going to go to the field. What? So I can lose weight. People lose weight when they go in the field. And they're eating MREs at 2,000 calories per. And they're losing weight because you're burning off all those calories. You're so active. I remember everybody would say, man, I've been sitting around Garrison all day. I'm putting on some pounds to go to the field. You try to get into some units going to the field. So you can glom on with them so you can go lose some weight. So, yes. Bronna says, proven safe and effective. Laugh my ass. Yes, it's true. Yes. So Straya says, how much of this interview will be replayed after this interview? Only the parts where they can make him look bad. That's it. Only the parts. Andrea says, do you think people are going to overconsume donuts like they did Tylenol? Granted, donuts won't kill you as quickly. Well, if you want a virtue signal, yes. So maybe. No says, Larry, this beach, nicely done, has made me madder than a wet hen. I just want to grab a fistful of that hair and do something. I don't want to say on YouTube and get me in trouble. But yeah, I feel it too, which is why I said I would have scolded. Bobby was better than me. Yes, I would have scolded. Shelley says, I hear about stuff happening through the mainstream media, then check Nick Shirley and Nate Friedman. Ooh, look at that. I like that. That's good. Francis, hey, I admit I love a sprinkled covered donut from time to time, maybe once a year. Look, there's nothing wrong, right? I recognize, Fran, that in many ways I'm fanatical. In many ways, I recognize that. I'm not mad at it. I hope you're not mad at it. But I can recognize and say it. Hey, I have these feelings. I think X, Y, and Z. If you ask my opinion, I tell you my opinion. And many times my opinion is more radical. True. You're right on whether it's libertarianism, whether it's diet. Yes. But it doesn't mean I have a right to force my view upon you. If you guys want to eat different than me, you should. I hope more of you eat more the way I eat because I believe it's the best way. Of course I believe it, or I wouldn't do it. But my goal has to be, if anything, just to get you to think better about your diet and your life and be better. That's it. And not just that, be very forward. Just because keto works great for me, and it does work great for me, doesn't mean it will work right for you. It doesn't. Somebody's different doesn't mean it will work. I hope it will work better for you. Eating a whole bunch of donuts, I'm sure, is not going to work for you, whoever you are. But yeah, if you need a donut, look, I sometimes have things that aren't keto, particularly when my kids want to have it together. We sometimes do. My life is basically keto, but once in a while I go off. Happens as you see fit. So yes. All righty. Grab a couple of these if I can. Okay, we're talking about these commercials a lot. Okay, I'm going to keep going. As I told you, I did the best I can with those. Brona says, do infants need the Hep B vat? No. Is there an epidemic of infants shooting dope with prostitutes during needles? No, not at all. And again, to be forward, Brona, if you're like, my kid's got to have it, you can. I don't know why you would, but you can. Yes. Yes. So, Nosy says, I told my niece, who is 43 years old, 100 pounds, overweight, eats bread and pasta. You can lie to everyone, but you can't lie to your body. You eat too many carbs, your body won't lose weight. It tells you what you eat. Yes, but the issue is, what the issue here, I think, is, within this case, is, does your niece, is she ready to make a change? The problem for most people with any addictive problem, and if you're 100 pounds or 200 pounds overweight, you probably have an addictive problem with your personality. It's called an intake problem, for those who don't know. It may not be food, it may be intake. Some people are more naturally, whenever they're in a stressed or bored or unhappy position, they need intake. That intake could be water, could be food, could be smoking, could be drugs, could be carbs, whatever. They want something, particularly if their life is challenging. When your life is challenging, your brain begs. It begs for energy. What stress really is in many ways, it's many things, but one big part of thinking about stress is a lack of focus, right? If you can clearly focus, if you can, you tend to be less stressed. Again, not 100% rule, but a good general rule. So when you're not focused, you're thinking about many things. Your brain's going crazy. As your brain's going all over the place, popping on and off, people think I'm multitasking. The reality of it is the brain cannot multitask. It's not a thing. What happens is the brain turns on and off quickly, very quickly for things. Generally speaking, a female brain is better at that than the male brain in general. Again, we're talking general rules. A female brain, depending upon on the situation, can be up to 10, 20, 30 times, 30% more active than a male brain, depending upon what's happening. Well, when that happens, the brain begs for fuel. The two fuels the brain loves more than anything, sugar and fat. Loves those two. It's the most direct. And because if it's a processed sugar, it goes right to the brain. Boom, blood, boom, right to the brain. So the brain loves that. So it's like, I'm stressed. I'm worried. I need intake. Hey, can I have some processed carbs? Now, people will say, well, that's why they like, the candy bar. It's better than, say, rice. Is it? Yeah, but rice is still bad. The body sees all carbs as sugar, whether it's a candy bar or a sandwich. If it's got tons of carbs, the body sees it as sugar. Tons of sugar puts it to the brain. Now, it goes faster if it's processed, and the best if it's liquid. So when the brain is in trouble, boy, does it love Coke, pure Coke. Well, not that kind of Coke too, but Coke, Pepsi, whatever, soda, boom. Gatorade, Mountain Dew, whatever, boom, right in. Then you're going to give it caffeine too? Oh, brain's like, give me that. Give me some of that caffeine and sugar, rich. Straight to the dome, boom, loves it. So the odds are she has those issues. She has to somehow fix those issues. I'm going to give you a trick that will sometimes work depending on a person. I just told someone recently about this idea. What you can do if you want to, if she wants to, if this is her issue, and again, I don't know if this is her issue, if it is, you can literally do something that's going to sound crazy. When you get to her, find the highest quality bacon you can find. I'm very serious. Whatever the highest quality bacon you find, get about 2 pounds of it and fry up 2 pounds of bacon. Yep. Put it in a bowl or a bin or whatever. I would prefer glass, but if you go plastic, you can. I'm a fanatic with plastic too. All my stuff's glass or ceramic. That's me, but whatever you want, put in a bin and say, when you want a snack on that. She might go, what? When you want a snack on that. Snack on bacon. Why? Tons of fat. It's fat and salty. And if she can start snacking on bacon and not snacking on other things, hopefully over time, her brain and her taste buds will get accustomed when it's screaming for something, the intake will be salty fat. Right? I rarely snack, but when I snack, I'll often eat pork rinds, salty fat. Right? Bacon, same thing, salty fat. You eat that, your brain gets what it wants, but there's no carbs in it. So it's salty fat brain food with no carbs. That's how I got my stepdad on it. I gave it to him. He started eating it. He was like, oh, this is good. He got accustomed to it. Stopped buying chips. Stopped buying cookies. He just would eat bacon all the time. He actually used to call it, hey, it's the bacon diet. It's the bacon diet, Dad. That's what it is. The bacon diet, Pop. That's what it is. It's the bacon diet. So try that. It may work for her. It may not, but it can't hurt. And if she goes that route, she may also recognize how much she's eating. If it's only one thing, she'll recognize how much she's eating. If she's downing 2 pounds of bacon in an afternoon, she's an intake problem. And she'll see it. My God, I'm eating 2 pounds of bacon in an afternoon. I have an intake problem. Okay, now she can notice it. Many times we can't because we think we're just nipping here or there since we're not eating much. But if all you got is 2 pounds of bacon and it's gone in a couple hours, you have an intake problem. How do you fix that? So it should be helpful. If you can, try it. See what happens. Hope that's helpful for you, Nosy. So, all righty. Let's see here. Craig says some jabs have gelatin in it. Gelatin is derived from pigs. Some flu vaccines and MRIs have it, for example. True. You're not wrong. Friend says the flu in my area is a bad one. The shot's not helping. They don't always help. I haven't gotten a jab in 2 decades. I don't even know how long. Long time. I don't know how long, but it's been a very long time. And I sometimes get sick here or there, but unless you have a pre-existing condition or unless it's a crazy strain, the flu isn't deadly. I mean, there's all crazy strains, obviously, right? That does happen sometimes. Or if you have pre-existing condition, I don't have a pre-existing condition, so I'm not concerned about the flu. The worst it will do is take me out for a couple of days, if it does, but usually not. So John says, I have had the flu twice. Both times I had the flu shot in the fall and ended up getting the flu in late January. Yep. Absolutely. All righty. Chris says, no shots for me. I sip bourbon every day casually. Have had a cold nor a flu of a third of a century. Whoa, look at you go. I should do that. I don't like that. There we go. All righty. Shelly says, the Hungarian cure is get really, really drunk, and after you shit your brains out, drink loads of water. I like that. Christopher says, I lived on sugary cereals when I was a kid in the 70s. They were reported back then. I ate so much garbage. I don't even know why I'm alive. I am with you. God. And look, I love my mom. She passed, but I love my mom. And she gave me what she thought was right. She read the package, right? And the package said, oh, it's got 8 vitamins and minerals in it, so it must be good. Meanwhile, she's giving me Captain Crunch, right? Or whatever, right? Or Fruit Loops or whatever. She gave me, I ate this up every day. I had sugary cereals every day as a kid. You're right. And my mom wasn't, trying to harm me. And she just read the package. It said, hey, it got minerals in it and vitamins. See, it's good. Yeah. I had nothing but sugary food, tons of pizza. I ate like garbage. But when I was younger, I was a kid. I had tons of energy. I had a great metabolism. Then I was a Marine for years. I didn't have to worry about it. Then all of a sudden I went from being a Marine to being a teacher. Yes. Oh, yes. And now I've been keto for this summer will make 16 years. Yeah. This summer will be 16 years. So we are on our way. So I hope that I stopped early enough I started caring about my diet when I was in my 30s, late 20s. Late 20s is when early 30s, I started caring about my diet, thinking about different things. I tried different diet types. I did blood type diets and this diet and that diet, all types of stuff. And then I eventually settled on this one in 2010. That's when I settled on this one. But yeah, so I was early 40s. Yeah, 41? Something like that? Yeah, I was early 40s. I think I was 41 when I started my keto. I've been on keto since I was 40 years old. So yeah, I started caring about my diet So I've been messing around with trying to make a better diet for about 10 years until I settled on this one. But yeah, so I hope I've stopped because I'm with you. When I was a kid, just terrible. Phil, thanks for being a member of the 12 months. You're amazing. Dunkin' Donuts has snacking bacon, but I'm pretty sure it's maple bacon or something like that. An almost keto auction at Dunkin'. Yeah, almost keto, but no. He means option, I think. Almost keto option. Yeah, no, maple bacon is not good. There's too many carbs in it. It's got to be the best bacon you can find. You want to get good bacon, and you want to make sure when you're getting it that it's not maple, just straight regular bacon. That is your goal. So yes. All righty. So many things. I appreciate that. There's so many of these. I'm trying to grab them if I can. Brian says, hello, future Governor Sharpe and all Sharpies watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Yes, go Bobby. Yes, correct. Absolutely. 100%. All righty. I'll grab some more of these. Friends, this is a clown show. The story of Venezuela has changed daily. Talk of Cuba, Colombia, Mexico, Greenland. I love this country, but this posturing all in the name of national security. Yes, he goes on to say, Frank goes on to say, our principles are gone. Here's the thing people aren't getting. Here's what we aren't getting here. What are we telling the rest of the world? Might already makes right. We know this already. So when China decides this year to blockade Taiwan, it's our sphere of influence. It's our hemisphere. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. We're going to blockade. You blockaded Venezuela. You try to take over Russian ships or whatever that ship was, with I guess a Russian flag, whatever. You're taking over ships. You're taking hostage. So we do the same thing. What if the Chinese go, why don't we just go into Taiwan and take over their president? Let's grab the president, pull him out. He's a criminal. Now, China has more of a claim on Taiwan's president being an actual traitor than we do Maduro. Right? We as Americans agree Taiwan's not its own country. How do I know that? We don't have an embassy there. Yes, we don't recognize Taiwan. Oh, some of you don't know that. That's true. Do your homework. We don't recognize it. We don't have an embassy there. Yes, we have like a special something diplomatic building or something because we don't recognize it. We accept that China has a claim on Taiwan. America accepts that. The entire world accepts that China has a claim. They don't say what the claim is or how to Taiwan. Taiwan is not in the UN as a permanent member of the Security Council. China is, not Taiwan. But I thought China won the war with us, and they were supposed to be part of the top five. Yeah, who? China is, not Taiwan. So if anyone has a claim, it's them. So they can just go in there now, use their Chinese Marines or whatever they're going to use, Chinese SEAL Team 6, whatever that is. They're going to go in there, take out the president, and bring him out and go, hey, you're a criminal. And every time they make a president, arrest him, criminal. And they're going to blockade and start taking all their oil and taking all their chips and stuff. We just said that's okay. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. So anyway, young Nate says, we cut off Venezuela all of China. Remember Japan, World War II? Yep. Thank you for that. But again, I'll bring this up, Nate. Very valid point. We wanted war with, we didn't. FDR wanted war with Japan, so he forced them into war. Lara, you blaming World War II on FDR? Yes. We went into World War II because of that. Now, it was going to happen in Europe either way, but we went in because of FDR. Yes, he's a terrible president, embarrassment. We should stop saying he's good. Nate is right. Yes. All righty. Frank goes on to say, Miller on stage pounding his chest. You can only mock poke a dog for so long before it bites you back. True. James says, I agree with Fran. And I'll be honest, I believe capturing a Maduro, I think Maduro shifted Venezuela left. Of course it did. Of course it did. Of course it did. Yes. So, all righty. All righty. I went there. We went there already. D says, is Thomas Massey in trouble with the amount of attacks from Trump and that S he's endorsing Ed Gallerin, who rubber stamp our money to us? I don't think so. The last I checked, he's doing okay, but I should check. I should check. Yes, I should check. All right. Shelly says, if I were Greenland, I'd auction it off a few billion to make a bid and reserve the right to deny all offers. Shelly, I've said that. I agree with you. I'm not even joking. That's what we should do. If you really want Greenland, there's only 50,000 Greenlanders. That's all there are. Give each one of them a check for $100,000. Done. You support Greenland. I'm not even joking. Just say, hey, we want to have Greenland. We want you to become part of America. We'll give you $100,000 each. You're done. And they might go, wait a minute. So each of us, each other, even for the kids, like you got three kids, that's $300,000. There's 50,000 of you. We throw that away on shit every day. Like we just burn that. That's nothing for us. That's chump change for us. We spent that taking Maduro. We spent that amount of money taking Maduro. We spent that when we were bombing Iran. Just spend that on you guys. Take it. We do. We spend more money than that bombing Iran. This is fine. Take the cash. Now we own Greenland. They'd be like, oh, damn, okay. Hey, Denmark, was nice to know you. You guys are great. But can you beat $100,000 ahead? Denmark gonna be like, we can't afford that. There's only like 5 million to us. Yeah, it's nice being Greenland. America. Yeah. Boom. Done deal. I'm not even joking. Then no one's mad. Then nobody's mad. Now, I'm not saying we should do that to Greenland because I'm not saying we should own Greenland. But I'm saying, again, if I'm Trump and if Trump was having me advise him and he's like, we're going to take Greenland, I'd be like, it would cost more to invade and more to rebuild whatever we blow up. Just write him a check. 50,000 of them. Done and done. Just bribe him in. Problem solved. Fran says Trump is the neocons puppet because they know he is ego and knee-jerk reaction, easily able to be manipulated if there's something to gain. I think he just wants to make deals. I think he wants to make deals. So I think it is. So Shreya says Trump doesn't have the race if it's Denmark. If he wants a military in Greenland, he can just call Denmark and ask them. Also true, right? Also true. The Danes will say yes. The Danes are going to fight him, right? We already have a base there. I think two. I think we have 2 bases there, right? We've got bases there. They're not going to be mad. They're happy. Yeah, no worries at all. So yes. All righty. Ironic says, can someone run for New York 21 to replace Elise Stefanik? There are people running. GOP is talking about putting Mark Molnar up there somehow. There's no libertarians that I know who want to run up there against Stefanik. The GOP has, I think, 2 people running right now. Mark is much more. I know Mark. He's much more of the guy running. I forgot the guy's name. He's a hardcore Trump supporter. Very right leaning, hardcore Trump supporter. Molnar is much more of a moderate Republican. If he runs, he has a chance at winning. I think he does. So that's why I probably wouldn't do it. So yeah. All righty. Nate says Rome Sentinel said they were going to try and send a reporter to the VFW. Oh, I appreciate that. That's amazing. And you're asking about that. I'm glad you brought that up, my friend, because here is my schedule. Do I sound smart when I say schedule like the Brits? Here's my schedule for this weekend. Guys, if you want to come see me, please come see me. I will be this Thursday, tomorrow night at Druthers Brewing Company in Albany, New York at 6 p.m. Come see me live. I'll be there. We'll hang out. We'll talk. Maybe we'll have some brewskis. I won't, but maybe I'll have water because I'm still keto. So I might have that. So there we go. Heading over to the VFW at noon on Friday, January 9th. It's in Rome. Yes, the VFW in Rome. Please see me at noon on Friday, the 9th. If you can't see me then, come out 6 p.m. El Rancho Mexican Restaurant in Watkins Glen. That is 6 p.m. on Friday. Then Saturday, 3 hits on Saturday. 3 chances to see me on Saturday. 10 a.m. at Hyde's Diner in Cortland. 2:30 p.m. at Sloan's New York Grill in Oneonta. And 7 p.m. at the Rustic Loft Pub and Grill in Amsterdam, New York. So any of those 3 days, come by and see me if you can. If you can't see me then, you can always go see me on Sunday, January 11th at the Green Witch Vape in Greenwich. And the Valencia Bar and Grill in Valencia, New York at 2 p.m. So 10 a.m. in Greenwich, 2 p.m. in Valencia. So please, if you can, come on out there, say hi. Again, it's free to come out. You don't have to pay anything. I request, not demand, I request that you please, if you can, purchase something at the event. If you can, if you're in a spot where you can, pick up an actual meal, please purchase a meal. If you're not, grab a cup of coffee, soda, drink a beer, whatever's appropriate. Please do so if you can to support the local place. I only go to local places, and I still cross this state. I don't just do this. I don't just go to fundraisers. I go meet people. It's what I do. It's how I know the state so well. So thank you so much for that support. If you can see me, please come and see me. There we go. All righty. Nosy says, eat fermented foods, not cooked, and also add prebiotics to your diet. Well, there we go. Soraya says, baby steps for dad. He is brainwashed and brainware from statins. Fermented foods are next. Yes. Best thing if you can. Yes. Francis, kimchi gives me the chills, but it is good. Yes, you're right, but it is good. Well, for you. I don't eat kimchi. I don't like kimchi very much, but I will eat it. I can. But yeah, generally speaking, I eat sauerkraut. I am German. So yes, so I go that route instead. So, all righty. Nico Abbott says, yes, RFK is actually making real change in any way he can. It's clear his message has resonated across public health leadership. I think I agree with you. I think he's doing much better than people thought. And he's making impact. I agree. Yes. Shelly says, I drink apple cider vinegar, but I prefer fermentation. That's the point of vinegar. That's actually very good for you. I will sometimes, if you really want to make an interesting treat for yourself, apple cider vinegar with lemons, right? Give you some of that citrus in there too. Apple cider vinegar with lemons and stevia as a sweetener. Stevia does not give you a blood sugar spike. So stevia, apple cider vinegar, and lemon, and it's a type of apple cider vinegar lemonade. And it also, by the way, doesn't affect the spike. So you can have it if you want to, even when you're fasting. So it's a sweet treat when you're fasting. It's not bad. I've done it before in the past. So yeah. All righty. Young goes on to say, today's Rome Sentinel announced your visit. There we go. So they knew it. I love that. Nico Abbott says, they don't tell you what to put in your mouth. The DGA can be important. I think you mean FDA, because of this administration that it will be Maha's regenerative farming initiatives. I hope regenerative farming will work. Yes, I hope so. I do. Borna says, no, I was just being flippant, Larry. Had to get my anti-malarial jab in. Oh, okay. There we go. Tim says, Larry should try and get fitness trainer Vinny Tortorich on your show. He's an interesting guy. Learned about him on Jason Stapleton back in the day. I think he's libertarian leaning. You know what? Yes. If you could do me a favor, if you could post something on his social media about me, I will have one of my guys reach out and see if he'll connect. So that would be great. Thank you. All righty. Brian says, negative social media reacts to Bobby's quick reaction to candidates and a name change. Bigger fish to fry thoughts. It is. It's not something he must deal with. Right now, if you see how Bobby Kennedy, what he's doing, he's actually being very savvy. People don't always see it, but he actually is being pretty savvy. He's being the, hey, thank you, Trump, for everything you're doing. And I'm going to be very forward. What Trump is doing is leaving him alone and protecting him. Trump isn't doing any of this stuff, right? He's doing all other stuff. Trump said this off the bat. He was very open about it. And Trump is a deal maker. He made a deal. His deal was, I'll give you HSS, leave the environmental stuff alone, and I'll leave you alone. Bobby's not talking environmental stuff at all. That was the deal he made. He gets HHS and does what he wants, and Trump protects him and leaves him alone. That's it. Trump is not, involved in that at all. He's not. He's just happy that he's getting some wins. Like, oh, Bobby's getting wins. I could use some wins. Thank you for the wins, Bobby. That's all Trump is doing. But Bobby knows that he needs Trump's protection. All the lobbyists are going to go get him. He's aware of that. And bribe his people. He's aware of that. He needs Trump's protection. I'm just being honest, Brian. I know that may not sound good. You may not like it. I'm just saying it's the reality, right? He needs that help. So he's going, and he's not going to fight on a Kennedy name change. He's like, what he means by figure fish to fry is, why am I going to bite that hand right now? I'm getting stuff done. That's what he means. Might he fight it maybe when he's on the HSA secretary? Maybe. He might come back and fight that one. But I think he's right. Not the time to fight. I agree with him on that one. I agree. Phil says, I'm eating salad right now. So he says, how much bacon in it? Yes. Bruno says, I mean, potatoes right now, of course, it's been turned into vodka first, but you get me. Vodka's not bad. Do what you got to do. That's good. Bruno says, I like runny yolks. I just can't stomach runny white. I like them both. All runny. All good. Yes. All good. Yes. All right. I will grab all. If I could, I would just slip them down raw, but I need them a little bit. So yes. Phil says, I think they were saying in the Battle of the Bulge, they were calculating soldiers were burning between 4 and 6 calories a day between fighting in the cold. Oh no. So at least double that. At least double. Yeah. Battle of the Bulge, fighting the cold and fighting the Germans, it's at least 8,000 a day. Yeah, at least. I can't imagine that. I can't. Olympic athletes burn 10 to 12 to 14 a day, 1,000 a day. So I'm sure in a battlefield piece, with it being that cold in the winter, has to be that. So yeah, I would imagine more. So D says, fat better than sugar. True. Chris says, portion control is key. I can easily eat 4 bowls of salad at Olive Garden. Salad's good for you, but not 4 bowls of it. True. Portion control is a good point. And the point is, right, do you have that intake issue I was talking about? That intake issue is an issue. Do you just want to keep intaking, right? That's the issue. So yeah, 100%. All right. Bruno, I haven't seen Mike. No, Mike's on his own show yelling about other stuff that he cares about greatly, which is why he's yelling about other stuff right now. Yes. D says, I eat the high quality bacon, and yes, in a glass container. Bingo. I snack on bacon in the morning, afternoon. I love salty fat. Yep, absolutely. D says, yeah, I saw Mike streaming right. He's streaming. He is. I know he is. So yes. All righty. John says, surprised that pork rinds have not become more popular since they're keto friends. They are popular. Now, if you like go on like places that you would think they wouldn't have them, they have them everywhere now. They are more popular. They are. I still eat them. So yes. Rob says, what are your thoughts on Dave Smith? Would you go on a show? I would. He doesn't want me on a show. I know Dave, but Dave's other stuff. Dave's not about this. Dave doesn't care about Dave Smith doesn't care about retail politics. Doesn't care about that stuff. That's not his thing. He's up here and he's going to go debate Piers Morgan or something. He doesn't care about retail politics. I wish he did. He does not. He clearly does not. If he cared about it, he'd have me on a show already. Not his thing. He doesn't care. He cares about this stuff. Retail politics, I think he's given up on it. He doesn't care at all. So I'd do a show if he wanted to, but he doesn't want me to do it. So what are you going to do? So, all righty. It says thoughts on RFK, and I just did that one. Did you miss it? I just did it. Should society require? Okay. I'll answer. I'm surprised. Did you just want me to say it? I feel I feel like it's very obvious, but of course I have said so for literally years, 6 years now. I did 6 videos or more in March of 2020 on how we should have handled the bug. Of course, there should be no mandates. Of course. But Larry, people could die. I get it. It is a bridge too far when the government can force you to put a substance in your body. It is a bridge too far. We have gone too far. Absolutely no. Now, the idea that a society has to take a jab to protect others, no. If you want to be protected, then take it yourself. Supposedly, the jab protects you, right? Isn't that what it's supposed to? Then take it and you are protected. You're good. They should never stop you, but absolutely not. No mandates on stuff going in your body. It is a bridge too far. No. And if that makes you, oh, you're evil, you want people to die, whatever. I don't care. No. And it's not because I'm mean. And I tell you this, I tell the story often, but so you'll see where my head is. When the bug first came in 2020, I had 2 people in my life who were over 85 and had pre-existing conditions. I was scared for them. I was scared because I knew if they get that They were in that sweet zone that it was deadly. Oh, they were both over in their 80s and had pre-existing conditions. That's the plague for that group. I knew that, and I was scared. Of course, I loved them. I was scared. Does that mean because I'm scared? You get a jab. Put a medicine in your body because I'm scared. I'm scared. Phil, put medicine in your body. Shelly, I'm scared. Put medicine in your body. I'm sorry. Put drugs in your body because I'm scared. How is that? No, I don't have a right to do that now. Was I worried for them? I was. Did I care if they were going to get some jab injury? No, because if they got the bug, they were dead. I was prepared to take that chance because that risk reward to me made sense. Now you can disagree, and you can. If they're your loved ones, you should make a decision based upon your loved ones. I was worried. I asked both of them. They're both churchgoers, were part of Eastern Orthodox Church. And I said, I would like you to not go to church because I'm scared for you. And both of them agreed. But I'm going to tell you, if they had said, Larry, I don't care. My faith matters to me. I'm prepared to die for it if I need to. It's part of my life. It's part of my social structure and my culture. I'm going to go. And what happens, happens. I would have driven them because they own their lives. I own mine. You own yours. So absolutely no exception. You get to be afraid. I was. You get to be afraid. You shouldn't be mocked or scared. You get to be afraid. You just don't get to tell people what they have to do. I hope I answered that question clearly. Nosy says, if I stand at 30 carbs a day, I don't get hungry. I know. I try to stand at 20. It's why I only eat twice a day, sometimes once a day. Also known as OMAD, 1 meal a day. Yes. Doc says 2 pounds of bacon in every pan. Yes. My hub has used pork rinds in place of, yes. I think it can absolutely work. Yes. He says, I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I was a Captain Crunch kid. Docs did too. I love Captain Crunch. It still tastes good. In fact, I had some last year. My youngest daughter said, Daddy, you used to tell me you used to have Captain Crunch. I want to have Captain Crunch with you. And I went, okay. And we bought a box of Captain Crunch and we ate Captain Crunch together. The milk and the whole thing. So yeah, even I will do it once in a while. Why? I want to make my daughter happy. So yeah, I'll do it for that in a heartbeat. So yeah, absolutely. So anyway, oh my God, here. King Vitamin, have breakfast with the King, basic Captain Crunch. Yep. K. John says Cocoa Krispies, Cocoa Puffs. Yes, I did love those too. I did. Captain Crunch was my number one, but I also like those two. I would take those two. I would. I liked Fruit Loops. Are those nice? I liked them. I'd eat them, of course. They're sweet and syrup, of course, but Captain Crunch was mine. Doc says Crunch Berries. Yes. And I like the peanut butter one too. I liked peanut butter. Crunch Berries were the best. Yep. Yeah, literally. Yes, they were 100%. He says, remember those little cookies? Yes. They were called, oh my God. Was it Cookie Crisp cereal, as it was called? I ate that one too. Yes. Yeah. All right. Bronna says, I was never a cereal guy. Eggs, sausage, biscuits and gravy are still good. Sometimes when I go upstate New York, they have it's going to be so good. I'll break and have biscuits and gravy. I will. Or chicken fried steak with gravy. Oh, chicken fried steak with biscuits and gravy. I will sometimes break and have that one upstate because I know it'll be like right from the farm. So I'll do it. I will sometimes do it. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Where am I? Here. I've grabbed that one already. Okay. People trying to get Shelly a ride. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, guys. If you can, it'd be great. Yes, the sticker meal guy. He is running. And Anthony Constantino. He's the guy who's running right now for Stefanic's seat. Mark Molinaro will be a much more calm one. Yes. Shelly says Greenwich, which is pronounced Greenwich. Yes. Greenwich is the name of the vape shop. But some people call it Greenwich, some people call it Greenwich. Yes. New York is very weird. New York has all kind of names that you just would not imagine. Yeah. All the time. So you have to go there, say it wrong so they can correct you. That's how I learned. I didn't learn because I just knew. Right. I went there, said it wrong, and went, Larry, is that how you say it? Oh, okay. And that's how I learned, by just making a mistake and then figuring it out. So yes. Brian says, thanks, Larry. I hope it helps, brother. I hope it helps. So, All righty. John says, yeah, has to be more calories. A day on my grandparents' farm burned 10,000 calories back in the day. Yes, exactly. So I'm saying the same thing. It's got to be more. It's got to be more than 4,000 to 6,000. I would say it's minimum 8,000. Probably double, probably 8 to 12 is my guess. But yeah, at least that. So Andrew says, RFK Jr., for all his faults and merits, said it correctly when he said, let people make informed choices. Let the guidelines serve as guides and let people make informed decisions. True, and true. Controversial. Yes, for that reporter. She's mad about that. Yes. K. John says, no shots from me ever. No one has to tell anybody what to do with their own flesh bag. Yes. Yes, absolutely. KMS says, RFK Jr. is such a class act. Best cabinet member, hands down. Sometimes I think how he would have been president. Thank for all he's done. I'm with you. Phil, thank you for $2. 9 p.m. is a volunteer meeting. All welcome. Gotta go to my volunteer meeting. Yeah. Thanks, Phil. Never going to eat tonight. It's your fault, Phil. I'm blaming you. So, yes, I'm blaming you, Phil. Anyway, it's not, of course. Yeah, Andrew says, yes, like chai lai. Yes, it's not chili. It's chai lai. Yes, it's crazy. Yes, it is nuts. It drives me absolutely nuts. But, hey, you got to go there and learn. It's one of the cool things. There are many cool things about New York. That's one of them. Guys, I'm going to ask you if you could please click the like button if you haven't already. Please share or repost this show if you haven't. Please, if you can, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. As I told you, if you can, please see me in New York. I've shown you already. I'll put a picture of it right now if you want to, but you can just go to any of my social media and you will see where I will be this weekend. If you can be here in New York, please do so. It is good. Please come see me if you can. I would appreciate it tremendously. And remember, after this show, please comment after live and please comment on what do you think of RFK Jr.'s changes? What do you think about his changes? Good, bad, not enough, too much, whatever you think, please comment after the live. Helps out with Mr. Rhythm, Algo Rhythm. Not just that, if you're watching this and it's not live, you may see two of the videos pop up. Please pick on one of them. Pick one of them right away and watch for these 8 minutes. Mr. Rhythm loves it even more. Please watch one right away if you can. I will see you all